I was hoping we could start this by saying like, oh yeah, me and Ziggy got to battle it out in the finals, and we don't.
I'm sorry that I got absolutely shit stomped by fucking Cervini.
We just don't.
I can't get out of arena fast enough.
I'm so glad that that's how the podcast is going to start. That's
Hey!
just
Hey.
There we go.
All right, so everyone, welcome. This is the very first episode of the Up or Down podcast. We're here to explain to you what that means, what we're going to be doing, introducing ourselves. I'm sure most of you, as first-time listeners, are friends of myself or Bryan or Anthony, but we're going to kind of go through why we decided to start this, what our plans for it, and then as we get in, we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty ways to start the fall in some ways, as I believe fall starts tomorrow, so as of recording. So yeah, we're going to start the fall by celebrating the summer. So first and foremost, to my left on the screen is Mr. Bryan Klein. Bryan, can you give everyone a little introduction for yourself? And yeah.
Hi, I'm Bryan. I'm a vampire by association because all I ever do is work nights. I like playing video games and I like watching anime.
Fair. Government name. Yes, I use his government name. Facts. Welcome to the crowd, Mr. Jempty. Of course, to the guy in the middle is Mr. Anthony Ziggy Cruz. Same thing, a little bit of introduction for yourself. Have at it.
Card player extraordinaire. Aficionado of anime as well. And yeah, just overall hermit. I don't like to really go out too much. I like to stay in the house. This is basically since the pandemic I've been pretty much stuck here. It's a prison. No, it's not that bad. Just life. Such is life.
That's fair.
Working, living, picking up the kids. Gotta love it.
You're the perfect stay-at-home dad.
Hell yeah.
You're so nice to your children and your dog.
Yup. Tomorrow we just
Mind you, you didn't mention the cats.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the cats have been pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, they've been fine. The dog's been a pain in the ass, so I'm putting him outside for the Falcon tomorrow.
That's cool. Or the dog next door, whichever. I mean, depends.
No, there's a Falcon or a Turkey Vulture, one or the other.
Turkey Vulture. I've seen those in the neighborhood, actually.
Yeah, they're nasty looking, man. They just sit up on top of perch. They're scary. No,
true.
thank you. They'll definitely take Tosh. He's gone.
Poor Toshi. So for this episode, I will be our hostess with the mostest. My name is Dan Arnold. If you're on my Twitch stream, you obviously already know my name, but once again, this might be for some new people coming into the stream and learning some stuff. I'm a avid card player, avid gamer. Pop culture and wrestling is basically my biography at this point. I'm also a sports head. I'm a weird dude. I'm kind of like into everything, and somehow I make it work. I don't really understand. I'm not an anime dude, but I will give some credit where credit is due to certain things.
Shame.
It's weird because like I'm an animator, but I'm not an anime fan. I know they're not really the same, but they're kind of the same, but not really at all. But that's all besides the point. But like I said, so this week I'm going to be your host. We do plan on having a rotating host, so this week I pretty much set in stone all the topics for us to talk about and what we were going to do. I'm hoping that we rotate that so we have different views, and some people might want to talk about different things. And some days we're going to have two of us that are experts and one of us that have no one. And sometimes we're only going to have one person that's an expert, which that would probably be an awful idea. So let's not do that. But today, we are going to go through kind of how we met, and then the who, what, when, why for the podcast. So I'll kick it off, since I'm already speaking, But the way we met, I find it kind of funny. Now, granted, I was the third man in this group because Bryan and Anthony knew each other. I don't know exactly how long you guys knew each other before I came into the mix.
I think it was 3 years before.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
yeah, we used to know each other through Great Traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Great Traditions used to be a shop that one of our other friends or acquaintances in real life had up the Leo Mall in Philadelphia, uh, basically like a 20-minute bus ride from Mayfair. Because at the time, this was well before us being able to have cars.
Oh yeah.
So
And I worked there, and I would leave high school to go to Great Traditions to work after I was done school.
I was
Yeah,
told there was
it's-
some pretty
And
steep
it-
competition there. So
Well, even
And
Ziggy,
that-
go there for that.
Ziggy would have hopped right on a bus too, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Well, two buses.
I only walked because it was from Washington to there. So
yeah, it wasn't too bad
I
for
mean,
him.
for
I had
a young Bryan, that walk is not bad at all.
yeah,
That's like a mile and a half, maybe further.
yeah. I mean, I used
Yeah.
to do it like every other day.
Yeah. What's it? I mean, like
That's
I don't
fine.
know. I mean,
That's
you're
probably
like
like
you're
2 solid
only
miles.
you're only like a couple years older than me, but like I just had a trans pass. I just would have like popped on the bus and called it a day. That's I don't know.
It was before trans passes for me. Like I
Yeah.
used to go to Catholic high school or
Yeah.
Catholic grade school rather, right around the corner.
I had to hoard those bus tokens, man.
That's fair. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got my trans pass through school, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, our school did not do that.
Yeah, we used
you
to
had
do.
you had to buy tokens through them.
We used
So-
to get tokens, and they were $1 a pop if you could find people selling them.
Well, it was weird because
Yep.
like I was like in a public school, but it was like one of like the harder to get into public schools, and it like I don't remember. I know Washington had like a bunch, but like my entire student body was like 750 students, whereas like
Isn't Swenson vocational?
it, yeah, but it's still public, but it's like
Uh,
it's kind of like
it counts as a charter though.
it's kind of like a raffle to get in. So I guess I guess it is a charter. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the exacts. I just know that I got lucky and got in. That's all I know.
You went to the bougie school. Me and Ant did not.
I mean, Ants, didn't you end up going to Northeast Prep though? No, or am I just crazy?
Northeast Prep.
Okay.
What? I was in Northeast High School, dude.
I'm just crazy. It's fine. You were the ghetto part. It's all good. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
So anyhow, so Bryan and Anthony knew each other for a couple years. You know, they played
because of Yu-Gi-Oh.
right. Like
Mhm.
Anthony,
Whoa.
Anthony
Relax, use that
played
name.
Anthony played Yu-Gi-Oh. It's fine. We can totally say Yu-Gi-Oh. Why couldn't we say Yu-Gi-Oh?
I used to play straight up aggro decks. That's it, guys. Don't worry about it. None of the new stuff.
Yeah, no, this was like a literal lifetime ago, like that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
this is back when Yu-Gi-Oh was a game that you could understand, and not every card has a paragraph on it.
You effectively turned your guys. You moved to attack, and it was just as simple as that. There might have been trap cards involved.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
about it. Not like, all right, during combat, I'm going to do this, combine 3 guys, plus the 2 guys in my graveyard, and the other guys from my out of play deck, and the ones from my side deck, and then we win the game.
So funny thing was, if we fast forward, is that the store eventually closed, right?
Yeah,
So our old friend slash landlord slash acquaintance, Sonat, had a dog kennel that he rented.
no. You're skipping something.
No,
Yeah.
but this
We
is
used to-
none of that stuff's a part of the story though. Like that doesn't.
Yes, it is.
None of that matters.
How? Because it is. It's how we met Will.
Yeah.
Will's not here.
We
It doesn't
met-
matter.
No, I understand that, but Will, one of our other good buddies, the part that he's leaving out is that Great Traditions did eventually go away. They just did away with the store, whatever. I don't know what happened. Bryan might know, but
Their
basically-
partner backed out on them, so
There
they
you go.
didn't have the income to keep the store open.
Okay, so that happened, and instead what they did was, back in the day, when people used to go to malls for things like Christmas and all that other stuff and not shop online, they would have mall events that it literally people are in the Chamonix Mall, which is a well-known mall in our area, and you would have just these vendors that are out, and he would have tournaments there on a weekly, like bi-weekly basis, right?
It was a week. Every weekend we held one at a different mall.
Oh, at different
So-
malls. All right.
Yeah.
Until
so-
eventually they talked to the person who was in charge of the dog school that they would take their dogs to, and didn't do anything on Saturdays, and then they were able to just use that area for the events, which made it easier for everyone to show up there instead of
'cause
figuring
it's-
out which random mall we were at during that week.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, so like what ended up happening, I guess this does circle into the part of the story. I missed it myself. So our friend Rich found you guys, I believe, through the mall rotation. Um, and then this is also along the time when the World of Warcraft trading card game had started. Rich and his brother had gotten into the trading card game in set one, and I had been friends with Rich since like grade school, so I had known him for I don't know.
Yeah.
Six.
I also knew Rich through another acquaintance through Great Traditions, which was Ian.
Right, right. Yeah, Ian went to my school also. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Ian and Rich, we all went to school together. Which ironically, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh with them, like my sophomore year of high school. So
Yeah.
obviously all connected but disconnected. But the point was that he eventually met the Great Traditions crew, and he met you guys all through WoW TCG. And like I said, that was through the first set and the second set, and then during, I think it was like right before the third set was released, he had come over to my house and showed me the game. And at this point, I was like in between games again. Or actually, no, I was playing Magic at the time, if I remember. Yeah, I was. Because I ended up selling my Magic collection to buy into WoW. And I remember I came out, this was before I was driving also. So we got on like, I think 2 buses to get all the way up there. Because like where the dog place was definitely out there, in terms of Philly. This was like super greater Philadelphia in like this weird spot where like only one bus goes to at like every other 2 hours or some stuff like that. Whatever it was, it was not easy to get to.
Yeah, you either got there an hour early or you got there an hour late. Like
Right,
there was no gray area.
Right. So then I came out, and then I met all you guys through that. And eventually it developed into, getting to know you better, and we ended up, I think we would like start playing at Sonat's house from time to time, and then we just,
Enter Chuck, enter Ed.
Chuck, Ed, yeah, shout out to Ed, oh man.
I miss
Edwin Rosario.
Yeah, man, shout out.
Isn't
it Rosado?
Whatever, same thing. Rosario.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
It's basically
like hold on. If I had made that comment as the white guy in the room, right? Like you would have lost your freaking mind. So this is bullshit. I'm sorry, Caucasian. The Caucasian. If I had said it as the Caucasian in the room,
we've discussed earlier throughout the week, and maybe even the weekend actually, that you're not allowed to use that word.
You can't use it, guys. I'm so sorry. But nonetheless,
that's why I said it though.
Nonetheless, so we ended up in the end all meeting through cards. Crazy way life works. But hey, that's the way life works sometimes. If we fast forward a little bit, we ended up becoming very close friends, and we actually lived together. We all moved out of our houses together into our own first apartment, and had a house that we all rented for like 2.5, 3 years, maybe 3.5 years, whatever it was. Basically until Ziggy had a kid, so blame him for all of that. But no, totally fine, totally worked out. A lot of fun.
WoW TCG died, and then Ziggy had a kid. It was just a year that just happened.
You know what? That is all kind of really close to each other. Yeah.
WoW TCG had to die in order to have Addison. Sorry. It was the soul that I exchanged for Addie.
I love you and I love your kid and all, but I'd trade her for WoW TCG.
I'm thinking, me too.
Sorry, Ad. Sorry, Ad.
But no, yeah, WoW TCG was awesome. If that would be something that they...
Yeah, she was.
that would be something that I wish would come back, or something similar to that game. It was just so much fun, and I have some of the best stories about cards is from that game. So
yeah, I mean the friendship built. I mean, to this day, I still talk to so many of those people, and obviously, we all stayed great friends through all of it, even after it dying and after moving out, etc. But yeah, I mean that was definitely, for the longest time, I didn't think I would ever love a game more than I loved WoW. And then of course Transformers came, and that's a whole other thing that we'll get into some other topic some other time. But yeah, so that's how this kind of came to be. Our friendship came to be. Now let's get into the who, why, what, when, where for the podcast. I don't mind keep going, but if someone else wants to fill in for a little bit, hey, have at it, boys.
So why is we decided to start the podcast? That's what we're
Sure.
looking for.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, we all like a whole bunch of things. We're all very opinionated dudes, and we clash. And it's funny when we do it because it's out of a place of
Love.
yeah. Oh, you said it, not me. It's out of a place of that, and yeah, I think that we differ in opinion, but I think honestly that kind of is the cohesiveness of our group, is the fact that we can yell at each other and make fun of each other, and you know, just overall think that it's funny, and then still end it with a little dagger at the end, and everybody's like, oh yeah, okay. So I mean, I just an outlet to bullshit about things that we all like. I think that's really the reason why I decided that I wanted to do it when Dan was like, sure, and I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
I mean, I want to do it because I barely get to hang out with you guys anymore. With me just working nights all the time, and Dan's random schedule and all that.
Ziggy has kids, Dan
Yeah.
has kids. It's tough to hang out. We've been trying to plan a D&D session now for 4 months, and it's just been
Tom?
like, God
Tom,
damn it.
are you there, Tom? Bueller? Oh,
Tom?
never mind. Sorry. My
Wellness
bad.
check?
Wellness check? No?
Oh,
All right,
God
anyway.
damn it.
Anyway, not important. So yeah, if you are
At
out
some
there,
point, D&D will be important.
if
again.
you're out there, let us know. That, we still do care. I promise.
Leave a comment for us, please.
Yeah, just like, comment, subscribe now. Yeah, so that's a good start of it. Honestly, so for the longest time, I have been a content creator for Transformers trading card game, and I loved it. It's been a passion of mine since like late 2018. So we're coming up on almost 5 years of that. But the game is getting to a point where the life has clashed. By the time I could put out information for it, it's probably too late for people to use the information because the tournament's like halfway over, things like that. There's all these reasons why it's been difficult to manage doing content for the game right now. But at the same time, discussing, we have these. It's just kind of like one of those things where we have these fluent conversations daily, weekly, monthly sometimes. If me and Bryan literally can't talk. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in August it would be 2:30 in the morning and I would just text Bryan hey, I happen to be awake and driving right now, so if you're not working, you can call me, because that's the life that Bryan and I live sometimes. And for a solid week and a half, Bryan's sorry, dude, can't help you. But that's just the way life is. Now, Ziggy and I, we spend almost a daily occurrence with each other at this time. It's kind of sickening, but that's besides the point.
He doesn't mean that. I work all day.
He works so hard, guys.
Oh, shit.
He does.
Hey.
He does. You do work really hard. I won't lie. There's plenty of times where he goes, "Hey, I'll be back," and then he's not back. So it happens all the time.
Fielding a million phone calls, just one after another. I'm like, God.
But yeah, so we have this large genre of topics that we all enjoy. Some of us enjoy more than others. Some of us enjoy certain things in said topic that are different from other things in said topic. So it was one of those things where, hey, let's make an actual effort to put three of us in a room together and just talk about it. Let's use that as it's honestly kind of an excuse for us to communicate more, because realistically in the last 4 or 5 months we haven't really been able to do it because of all these happenings. Bryan started a new job, not same time I did, but a little bit before I did, and I started a new job. Ziggy's doing his same old thing, but the problem is that D&D fell apart because of nonsense and bullshit, and that was kind of our monthly outlet, and it got away from us. So this is some way for us to get down, have our normal debates, and along the way involve you guys, hopefully. So we'll see. So I think that's pretty much it. So what the topics of the podcast were going to be, it's like really easy for me to just say it's a generic podcast, but realistically, it's going to be in the realm of pop culture in some way and in entertainment in some way, which is obviously a very large margin of things. But as I said, yes, we like superhero stuff, but we also like D&D stuff, and we also like all types of movies, and we like games, and I doubt we'll ever talk about sports other than the random sports pun that I'll throw out on here or something like that. But the point is that we
Google
all
it real quick.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So
What is this sports ball you speak of?
right,
So-
right.
To add on to that as well, there's a slew of things that we can talk about. He's covered a lot of them. Me and Bryan do a lot of Commander. Dan is not into Commander as much as we are, but we do that. The anime things.
I just
we
quit
will
Magic
cover.
for like the 17th time, and I'm not going back.
It's
That's
fine.
it.
It's
That's
fine.
it.
It's not a big deal. You don't have to play.
You don't even need to come back. You could just borrow a deck.
No, that's that's
we
that's a
literally
rabbit
just-
hole. Haha, spoiler, rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole I am not going in, all right? I'm not going to be the white rabbit. No.
Yeah, we
Bray Wyatt's going to be the
Bray
white
Wyatt's
rabbit.
good.
we all enjoy wrestling. It's been a love of mine for a while. I took a big break from it for probably like 15 years, and then my daughter has this kind of renewed my love for it, and then Stone Cold coming back this last year was just great. When that glass shattered, I was like, "Whoa!" I was pumped, and just to kind of, I guess, reinvigorate that love is that's a big thing. But all over, we're semi foodies as well. I guess you could put I do love food. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Tell.
I mean,
Would
we've
never
been-
trust a skinny chef.
we've
Just
been on
saying.
like a 3-week Hello Fresh kick, and I very much enjoyed getting back in the kitchen and making shit that I'm just not like, oh, hey, let's make chicken quesadillas for the 17th week in a row, so...
Shout out to
exactly.
HelloFresh if you guys want to sponsor us too.
Yeah,
That'd be
sure.
great.
Brian, they're
Hello-
already doing it, man. They're already doing
hello, Fouché, please.
it. But yeah, no,
We have a code to put out already? Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know we did.
totally. It's 1, 2, 3, go fuck yourself. That's what it is. All right.
Hey, there we go. For sale.
So, but yeah, I've been definitely enjoying that a bunch actually.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's nice to try like random things that you just otherwise wouldn't even think about. Because I can't tell you how many times me and Kel are sitting here like, "What do you want to eat tonight?" And then she's like, "You pick," and I'm like, "You pick."
Yeah, welcome to.
And then we're just stuck in this perpetual,
Welcome
we don't
to
know what we
every-
want.
And then I just pulled 2 things out of the freezer the night before, and I'm like, I'm making this. I don't even know if it goes together, but it's going to be something.
Yeah, it's much easier for you to do because you only have to worry about yourself, bud.
Yeah, you don't
Just
have to
throwing it
give
out
a
there.
shit
You don't
about
have
anyone
kids.
else.
You don't have to,
No,
you don't have to worry about
I-
being
I
fully
have-
stocked of friggin' chicken dino nuggies, okay? You don't have to worry about being stocked of that, right?
I have to take care of 2 potheads, thank you.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. That just means they're hungry. They'll eat whatever the fuck it is.
Listen,
You not remember Grandma's boy?
just
He's
set
like, I
your-
don't even know what you are, but I'm gonna fucking eat you too.
Because, they don't cook.
Well, just
I'm
set
the only
up.
one that cooks in the house.
Just set him up
Ever
a
since,
GoPuff account, man.
My man
It's
put a
fine.
fucking banana on a cooking sheet in the fucking oven. They don't care. It's just food. Okay? Come on, Brian.
With peanut butter though. Can I get some peanut butter?
I mean, if you want to have peanut butter, to each his own.
I'm just saying.
That's what you want to do.
I don't know. I've never been high, so spoiler alert, guys. I don't know what it's like. You guys are more inclined. But I'm not.
Whoa!
It just makes me hungry.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
I mean, I fell asleep.
It makes me hungry and
Zeke,
alleviates some back pain.
How
So.
how is SummerSlam, Zig? Huh? How?
I do not remember. SummerSlam was a whirlwind of emotion for me.
How is SummerSlam, Zig? Oh.
Like, what is this?
Like, did Brock
Why did
Lesnar
I-
just lift the ring with his bare hands?
Why is the ring upside down?
That's weird.
Why am I upside down?
Like, I need to go to bed. Holy
Oh
shit.
god.
Where
Yeah,
did
you
I
want to
go,
watch the rest of
Chris?
this in bed? Sure.
Oh.
All right. Let's watch. What matches up? Roman versus Brock. Okay, cool. Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. So with that, before we get way too derailed, we decided
Us
to.
derailed? No.
Well, we decided. Well, I'm sorry. I decided. Let's be honest here.
Well, here we go. Claiming it again.
that I decided that we were going to have a couple brief topics of different things this week, so we could kind of give you a general idea of where our head's at from the summer months as we lead into this and start discussing different things. So we're going to start with our favorite summer. I wrote movie. Wow, that is so wrong. That's not what I wanted at all.
No, it's a show. It's a show.
On the so maybe
On
it
the
says
list.
show on your show notes that I sent you in Discord, but on the actual podcast video, I fucked up and wrote summer movie, and here's why. So here's
All
my
right,
shout
wrap it
out.
up. We're done. We're done, boys.
Here's my shout out to Adam and Zach, my brother-in-laws. They have a podcast called The Summer Movie Club, and when I was writing this, he was sitting right next to me, and we were talking about his podcast. So hey, if you're on Anchor or anywhere you would get your podcast, and you find this, look up Summer Movie Club and give my brothers a follow because they are.
Dan, just edit it in post. Just edit it in post.
Summer movie club? That sounds.
So yeah,
You
No, I'm
can
joking.
Photoshop in the video, right?
I totally could, but we're not. That's just not gonna happen now. It's not happening. So yeah. So anyway,
can we wait? Can we give it real quick before we get into this one? Can we give a quick shout out to the names that almost didn't make it for the podcast? By the way, just so Kylie can feel a little love.
all right,
Yeah?
that's fine. We can totally have
Just
that.
I don't even care about any of the other ones. Just hers.
Oh, we're just talking about hers.
Just hers.
All right, so
just
Kylie,
give a shout out. Give a shout out to the name of the.
all right, so shout out to my wife, right? We were discussing names, and when I say we were discussing names, it was pretty much literally just me suggesting names, and then like literally not even getting a response from you guys, per usual.
Whoa, time out. I responded to a lot of those.
I responded to two dads and a beard.
Yeah.
Brian, that again sounds real bad. I don't even want to Google that one because I just don't want to know.
Anywho, so we were discussing it in quotation marks, and Kylie's like, "No, two dads and a beard. That sounds like a gay porn." And I'm like,
Yeah, it does.
I didn't think about it like that, right? Because that's just not where my head went. So now I know what my wife is thinking about. Hello.
The dudes never came. The dudes.
Anyway, so she goes.
The girls never came.
She goes, "Oh, well, why don't you guys name it the Byberry Boys?" And like, she was really, really excited about this. So to preface this, the road that we lived on was called Byberry Road, where we all had our house together. So she would just thought it was this great idea to be called the Byberry Boys, and I'm just like,
All right.
I don't know about
Interjection.
that one.
Does anybody remember the address of the house?
No, I don't. I couldn't
No.
remember it.
831 Byberry Road. Come on, boys.
831 Byberry Road. I couldn't remember it. I literally.
831 Byberry Road.
I tell you what,
We've been
anyone-
living there for like 4 years.
Do you remember? Do you remember the? All right, first of all, I've lived in one, two. Actually, you have too. You've moved a bunch too. Actually,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. No, yeah, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4. This
Yeah,
is
you
my, so
moved-
I've moved 4 times since moving out of Byberry.
So out of Byberry, I moved into my Aunt Gina's.
I moved
out
with
of
my
Aunt
dad's.
Gina's. Out of Aunt Gina's, I moved into Kelly's parents'
I
house.
moved in with Kyler and Hellerman.
Yeah. And then out of Kel's parents' house, we went to the apartment.
That's right. That's right. And then
Yeah.
I went to my apartment that's literally across the street from where I am now.
Then we went to the apartment back to Kelly's parents' house.
Yeah. And then
Then
okay,
Kelly,
yeah.
then Kelly's parents' house to my mom's house. 3 months later, back to Kelly's parents' house, and then a year later into the house.
Yeah, you moved way more times than I did.
Yeah,
Fuck all
it
that.
just
After
it was-
Byberry, I went from Mayfair to the house I'm in now.
Yeah,
So-
way better off. Except
I was like-
except Brian's moving company, you would never hire them because they were the worst moving company.
No, fuck those people.
whoa, we helped move him. Hello,
yeah, but he still had a moving company and they sucked.
dude. Remember Slam Man? I almost had a hernia, fucking trying to lift him. Oh my
Yeah.
god. And then Brian's mom, I lifted like the what was it, the recliner, and she was like, "Oh my god, is he gonna be fine?" They're like, "He's good." Slam Man was crazy heavy. For anybody who doesn't know what Slam Man is, it's a base full of sand,
Hey Brian,
and it's
Hey,
like
Brian.
400 pounds.
2 questions, Brian. 1, do you still have Slam Man?
Yes.
Okay. 2, when's the last time anyone used it?
When it was at the old house.
When we tried to lift it up.
So
and
that
I had a
means
hernia.
Anthony moved that thing for 0 reasons.
Dude, I struggled moving that thing too, man.
I
And
bet.
I had to like roll it. I had to
bet.
roll it till I got to the U-Haul.
I'm sure.
And I was like, I ain't putting this shit up
That
here.
that thing is in the shed right now.
Dude, that
That's
thing
fair.
is a deadly weapon
That's fair. So yeah,
for like the whole.
Well, I mean, if I ever want to start boxing again, yeah.
so long live Byberry Boys. It never ever existed.
Oh, by the way, what we were supposed to explain with the Byberry Boys is the fact that Byberry is an insane asylum near us, so that's why we opted against that name, hence making it terrible.
That's not the only reason we opted.
Shout out to Kylie.
Well, it's not the only reason we opted. It's just not a good name. Love you, babe. Not a good name. But, anywho.
Byberry Boys sounds like a gay porn too.
Favorite summer shows? Since I'm almost 100% positive that Bryan has watched way less shows than myself and Anthony. Bryan, what was your favorite summer show?
So, my favorite summer show is actually an anime that I've been watching.
Okay.
It's a summer anime.
Okay.
It's Overlord.
No idea. What's that?
So, the premise of the show is you're on your game, like you're playing WoW, the servers could go down, but you're stuck as your character, but you like in that world.
Oh, that's cool.
So you it's literally like, what would you do if you have all this power? And you get sent to a world where everyone's like level 50 and you're level 100.
Probably fuck people up.
Do you try to rule the world, or do you try to make the world a better place? That's the whole story of the show. But this is season 4, and they've just killed a bunch of people that they introduced for the last.
Spoilers.
I'm not saying who. I just said they killed people.
He didn't say who.
Spoilers. All right.
I didn't say Snape killed Dumbledore. All right.
Have you?
I'll ask Dan this. Dan,
Hold on. Have you watched that show?
Overlord? No, I don't like it.
Okay.
It's too slow. There's like some fan service, like I know in season 1, and I don't mind it, but I'm not a fan of people who are overpowered. I'm more of a.
Oh yeah.
I like an underdog story versus.
Coming from the guy who likes One Punch Man.
Who?
I watch One Punch Man. I don't like it. It's just funny because he's dumb.
Yeah, no. Like my biggest pet peeve is heroes that are more powerful than their villains. So like.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then you'd like Overlord because he's the villain.
Right. So I mean, that might be okay. I don't know. Who knows?
I can't stand it when a hero or when a villain will talk down to a hero and then that villain's not going to win regardless. So
yeah, but this is a villain that'll talk down to a hero and still win.
Yeah. I've watched a little bit of the show enough to know what you're talking about, and yes, I've seen that it's busted. I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you, because I just don't know the world, so I really can't go deep into it. Yeah. But it's not bad. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Anyway,
what was your question,
I digress.
Zig?
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna ask you.
So
up until right now, what is your favorite summer show?
So I wrote down what I think is every show that I've watched since May. So I got
list them off.
Obi-Wan, The Boys, Stranger Things, Umbrella Academy, Westworld, She-Hulk, Ring of Power. No, that's what.
Okay.
Rings of Power. So those are the shows that either I've watched, that I've liked and enjoyed, or that are still going, so I can't really give them full credit. But the one for me that is number uno is Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel for me was just, I don't know if it was just because what I was going through at the time, or just the sheer emotion brought upon the show, or the history that I've learned, through the Pakistan culture and things like that. I thought that show, for a very new character in the Marvel Universe in general, did a phenomenal job of just showing this young teenage girl gaining these powers, and they're not the same powers as the comics. So they basically created a new superhero, with just stamped her name on it, because they're similar, but they're still different in a lot of ways. That and the actress, I can't remember her name right now, which I feel really bad about. She was phenomenal, and she is the epitome of a diehard Miss Marvel fan. So She's literally just living her dream, playing this character, and I just think it shows unbelievably. So, yeah, for me, it was definitely Miss Marvel. I just think that it did a whole lot with realistically so very little, and it had probably not a very like huge hype built around it or anything like that. It's definitely not one of the most anticipated shows of the year or anything like that. I just think they knocked it out of the park. I'm very, very excited. It was just announced last week that they got renewed for season 2. I'm super pumped to see her in Miss Marvel's next year. It's just, yeah, I loved it. Out of the park.
The actress you're looking for is Iman Vellani.
Vellani, yeah, I'm in Vellani. Yeah.
Or Vellani, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not great at pronouncing people's names, but that was it.
I am the worst ever at remembering any actor or any actress's name, but I could tell you literally their name in probably every role they've ever played as long as I've seen it. So, yeah.
I personally I feel like it's an accomplishment when I feel like I know somebody that played something from another movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like my huge accomplishment. I feel good. So one of those to hit you with that what happened recently was Wolf the Dentist Stanton from Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah, you got me.
Is in Cobra Kai.
Yep.
And I was just like, dude doesn't look like he's aged like he basically looks like he's aged 5 years in the last 25 years.
I totally forgot
bonkers.
to I did watch Cobra Kai also, but that's
yeah.
I forgot to write that one down. Too shy. But yeah, so I think Disney Plus has done a phenomenal job this summer. I don't think they've had a bad show that I've watched. I'm not, I don't watch every single thing that they put on there, but I thought they were all pretty excellent. I thought they carried the summer really well. And then shout out because tomorrow, as of recording, Andor comes out with 3 episodes. I'm pretty pumped. You guys don't know this yet, but Bryan and Anthony do. I'm not a Jedi, dude. I don't give a shit about force powers. I don't care about lightsabers. You give me every scoundrel in the Star Wars universe, and I am all about it. So I am super pumped to see this show. Rogue One was probably my favorite Star Wars movie of all of them, which I know is pretty crazy to all you crazy, ridiculous Star Wars fans out there, but like, I love that movie. I loved Andor the character, and I'm super pumped to see like this prequel to that movie.
I think Rogue One was like my second favorite one.
It's fine. I mean, Obi-Wan was phenomenal for what it's worth. If anyone that hasn't watched Obi-Wan needs to, because that show
Obi-Wan was good.
Obi-Wan's like probably honestly a super close second to Miss Marvel. Those two were kind of like going on at the same time, and it was back and forth. That show was great. Ziggy, how about you, sir? What was your favorite summer show?
So a lot of the ones that you talked about I've watched as well, plus a few other ones just to kind of, I don't remember
exactly. Than I do.
Say what?
Can we ban Jepty in the chat for saying Star Wars and Star Trek?
No, because he's just our.
It's a normal Jepty joke. This is what you do, Bryan. You continue to talk about whatever you're talking about and just go right through it. Because if it doesn't phase you, he loses all of his powers.
Here's the problem. He won because you acknowledged him, right? He's not the tribal chief. We just don't. All right, you just don't.
Yeah. Can't do it, man. You just can't do it. I don't know. Watchability wise, I think that there are a lot of them that are kind of equal for me. I think that I want to go with Stranger Things, and the reasoning behind Stranger Things season 4 was because that was when Addie got involved into it, and Addie loves it. I loved it. The Metallica fucking solo was so good, and it was awesome. They always have one character per season that they introduce that just takes away the season, and that was Eddie Munson for me. It was great. I mean, I'm not fanboying over him or anything like that, but it was just he was a good character at first. I mean, I liked him from the beginning, and then there's so many things that come along with Stranger Things that is funny to me now. Like the fact that they have that stupid song. It's like, Chrissy, wake up. There's so many things that just tickle me about this this season.
I'm not a TikTok guy. I was never a Vine guy. I was never a Chive guy. I was never any of
How
those
dare you.
persons. I
Don't you
know.
talk about
I know.
Vine.
I'm a fucking devil. Whatever. I'm not hating on them, right? Like I'm just not about them. Like I won't lie to you and say that like I've never bought like stuck on Facebook Reels, but that's because like it's Facebook, it's on my phone, and it just goes. Like I'm just not going to go out of my way to download another app platform for social media to get stuck on that. Like I'm not about that life. But I will say that the what I found hilarious about Stranger Things is because they released like half the season or whatever, and then the other half or whatever. But like my wife, who does not watch the show at all, and I think she watched maybe like half of season one and then just never went back. She literally knew about what was happening in the show because of all the spoilers from TikTok, and I'm just like
Yeah.
what? She's
Well,
like, oh yeah, what about that Vecna guy? And I'm like, how the fuck do you know who Vecna is? Like what?
it, it's so funny that so many people of so many age groups watched it because my parents watched it. Like they're not as old as
Yeah,
everybody's normal parents. I guess my
I
age,
think.
my parents had them when my parents had me
I mean, I think
when I
all our
was when
parents
they were very
are
young.
pretty young, right? Like none of our.
Yeah.
Your mom's not in her 60s, right, Brian?
No.
Yeah, like so all of our parents are like in their 50s. Like they're pretty.
Yeah.
They're young.
Yeah, they're
You know.
young. They're youngish and young equivalent. So my dad is 52,
Yeah, like
right?
my mom's
50,
my mom will be
50,
54 at the end of the
something
year.
like that.
My
I
mom's
forget.
also
I
54.
forget exactly how old he is. I don't remember that shit. He probably told me sometime, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't need to know. Old ass
I don't
motherfucker.
know.
So the yeah, Stranger Things. It's because I think generationally, there's been so many people that are watching it that I can enjoy it, and now the fact that I can enjoy it with Addie makes me feel even happier about it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say I love her because it's just
Yeah,
so, so,
you're literally not
I
capable of
guess
it. So
can't do it. Can't do it. But I enjoy it greatly. It brings a lot of joy to me that she likes to watch it and she gets so invested in it
yeah,
because then it makes me want to, know. And then, her whole thing with like Chrissy Wake Up or whatever that it was, dude. But I was just like, this song is so stupid. But in the front, while I'm looking and I'm driving to my dad's house, I'm fucking smiling sitting there. I'm just like, this is so dumb. This song.
and it's just stuck in. I mean, literally,
It's,
we.
it's stuck. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, what do I want to listen to on the radio?
Yeah,
And then I'm like, and I hit it on my phone. And I'm like, god damn,
yeah.
this is the stupidest.
What I like. What I mean, Stranger Things was, in my opinion, much better than the previous season. So that had a lot going for it. But like, what I thought was crazy too about it is like you said, like just the generational thing is like, we live in this world now where like superheroes are cool, right? And like Stranger Things like inadvertently like revitalized D&D for people and things like that. So like it's crazy to think of like where we are now compared to even where we were like 10 years ago realistically in pop culture cuz like
Yeah.
when we were in high school a lot of the stuff that we enjoy was like nobody fucking liked it. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to hear about it. You were a super geek, nerd, dork, whatever you want to call it. Now it's like, have you seen the last Marvel movie? Like, if you haven't, you suck. That's really what it's like. It's crazy. Like it blows my mind.
I feel like we used to go to the movies when it wasn't cool,
Yeah.
and then now all of a sudden it's like cool again to go to the movies.
I mean,
Like I can't tell
I
you.
still go.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I don't go as much because I much rather enjoy it the comfort of my own home.
Yeah.
But
It's the one thing you can't. I don't know. For me, just some of
you can't replace it. There's no way. For me, you're never gonna replicate
And it-
the pretzels and cheese. You're just
Yeah.
never, you can never
I'm
do
trying
it.
to
It's
think.
impossible.
I'm trying to think like what's the last. I think it was Bad Boys 3, if I remember correctly. But like, other than Bad Boys 3 and like The Greatest Showman, those are the only two non-Marvel movies that I have seen in theaters in probably like 10 years. I can't think of anything else. So like other than those two, and Bad Boys 3 like I mean it's not a superhero movie, but it's an action movie, whatever. Very funny, not nearly as good as Bad Boys 2. This is way off the point. But the point is that, like I still have to go and enjoy that Marvel surprise. I love the crowd reactions. Like those videos, like those like stream together videos of like the crowd reactions of like iconic moments and like phase 1 and phase 2, like those are like I love being a part of those moments. But I get it, you know. Like I got kids. It's not easy to always get out and fucking go see a movie. You know what?
Yeah,
I
especially
respect.
since the pandemic happened. Like,
Right, right. I
that shut a lot
mean,
of it down for us all too.
yeah, that sucked. Like, you know, um, I think, and like I didn't see every Marvel movie. Like I didn't see Shang-Chi in theaters. I didn't see the Eternals in theaters. You know, so like it's definitely not all of them, but it was most of them. I don't know. But yeah, so I think the other cool thing is that running up the hill song from like the '80s that was like
Kate something.
right, that was like never a good song, literally ever, is
Oh
like
yeah.
number one on the charts for a couple weeks. It was like what?
Make it. She made the first couple $1,000,000 she ever made in her life.
Yeah, like
after
literally
Stranger Things came out.
literally like 40 years after she wrote the track.
Yeah.
It's
Good
like,
for her, man. Good for
that's
her.
what I said. I was like, fucking A, man. Good for you. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Metallica shot up. I think it was like the first time in history that a song came out X years ago that was in like the Billboard either number one spot or the top three or something like that. It was just ridiculous. But I mean, that's what happens. Kids these days, they just
Yeah.
latch onto things and they're just like, boom, whatever. I mean, they make it pop culture.
It's social media. It's TikTok. It's just all of it. Like, it just any of it. I'm just gonna shake my head at him. Shout out to Kate.
You just acknowledged it.
Shout out to Kate Bush.
I don't have it on. I can't do it.
It's fine. But yeah. So honestly, I think the summer was really great. Like, I mean, I listed off like 10 shows, and like there's so many more than that. There's also shows.
Moon Knight, right?
Moon Knight, I think was March, April, so it was like not really in the cutoff that I created.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like, you know, even right now, like, we have She-Hulk, we have House of Dragons, we have Ring of Power, Andor starts tomorrow. Like, there's still like all this crazy pop culture things like happening. I have not watched any of the House of Dragons yet. I'm very invested in Rings of Power. I'm very invested in She-Hulk. I already said I'm excited for Andor. I'm not sure. I don't think I would consider this like crazy hype, but like we were talking the other day about Mighty Ducks Game Changers coming back in a couple weeks. That's a cute little show, and like if you're trying to get.
Dude, you make it cute. Now I can't watch it.
I'm just saying it is. It's a cute little homie show. You know, like whatever. Like it's. Bombay is Bombay. I love Coach Bombay, but
hell yeah,
I don't know. That's
Coach
coming
Bombay.
back. I'm excited. I'll watch it. I still haven't heard anything about Ted Lasso season 3, and that's the one thing I'm super ecstatic for. But I haven't heard when that's coming just yet. We'll see.
So for Ted Lasso, I got to like 2.5, like the half of the season 2, and then I just kind of fell off watching it because. I don't know, I guess work got busy, and it was just one of those things that I didn't get to. And then YouTube, Rust, all that shit.
Yeah.
Life.
I mean, it just won an award in the Emmys, I think it was.
Oh, it's good. It's entertaining. I mean,
definitely.
He's the one dude who's the main. Well, he was the main guy for a while. He's Hercules. In
yeah, from the soccer team.
Yeah. The real angry guy. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, the real angry guys. That's if you don't know who we're talking about, you haven't watched Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to not spoil it. / I really don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so that's the flip side of it. There is a lot of wrestling going on. In life
I don't think
now.
I could narrow it down to a moment.
So, I mean, I did the same thing. I wrote like a list of moments that I have no problem pointing out, but like my list is definitely probably different than Bryan's list. I would guarantee it. Ziggy doesn't have a list, so it doesn't really matter.
When you said find a moment, I'm like, I'm just finding a storyline that I'm enjoying right now and
That's
put
fine.
that down as that.
That's fine. But the point is, so hold on.
Okay.
So, right now, if like you're not in the wrestling universe and you don't know anything about wrestling, you don't give a fuck about wrestling, that's cool, right? Like that's fine. Ziggy said it from the beginning. Stone Cold Steve Austin fan since he was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan's been a fan probably well before Stone Cold Steve Austin existed, if I remember correctly.
I was watching Hulk Hogan wrestle in WCW.
Yeah, I did that
Sure.
too. I just didn't put that out there because I can't really sit there and definitively tell you that I was a huge fan of it, but I mean, I watched, back in the day, friggin' Perry Saturn, Buff Bagwell, all those people, all those little known people, that were just entertaining in WCW. Yeah, I watched it. I used to watch ECW as well, but just was one of those things. I stopped
ECW,
playing.
ECW.
Yeah, when Sabu and all that stuff, just incredible. I mean,
Um,
I watched it all.
so
I don't ever I Stone Cold, that era was the best for me.
yeah, I mean, Stone Cold is pop culture, right?
Yeah.
Like The Rock is pop culture. John Cena is pop culture. Like Hulk Hogan, pop culture. Ric Flair, pop culture. Like these are generational talents and superstars that even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know who they are. Um, I think in more recent years, we were talking, 30 years ago, we had WWF/WWE, and we had WCW, and it was like the height of the industry and everything that was going on with the Monday Night Wars and all those things. And that was obviously it was cool to be a wrestling fan then, for a really long
Yeah.
time. It was cool to be an NWO fan. It was cool to be a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. It was cool to be a Rock fan. Like,
It's
that's
cool to
when
be a DX fan.
Right, right. DX. The list goes on. That's how great that time was in wrestling. And then for a long time, like WCW died. There was many companies that attempted to replicate what WCW did, and they all basically failed miserably over and over and over and over again. Sometimes to the point where they literally were resold, and it was really bad. So for a long time, it was just WWE, and they went into this PG era, and even when that happened, like there was like my block is not as long as Ziggy's block, where he's like 15 years. My block was like kind of like high school, probably. Like I don't know. Like I had way more things going on, in life. I had a girlfriend. I had played hockey literally like 4 nights a week, and then 2 times on the weekend. Like I was like I didn't have time to ever watch Monday Night Raw or whatever. I don't even. There might have been DVR then. Like I don't even fucking remember if it existed yet. I have no idea. But I went away for a couple years, and I remember when I came back, and it was like the main event. I think it was like 2006 or 7, where it was like John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is probably my favorite wrestler of all time. If I had to go gun to my head, so. I remember I came back, I watched that, I'm like, who the hell's this John Cena dude, yada yada, and I went back away, and then I came back a couple years later. But, like, there is that lull period, honestly, where, between 2004 to, like, 2010, wrestling was probably, like, not that popular. It was there, it existed, but it was definitely a lull period for it, and then, like, you have... Now, what started then, honestly, is it's been this long, but like you have people like Roman, and you have CM Punk, and you have John Moxley, who was formerly known as Dean Ambrose, and you have Seth Rollins, and like all those guys that were like kind of coming in those early, like 2010, 2011, 2012. Punk was running the business, and Cena was running the business at this point, and like all these things going on that were like at least getting to an interesting point, and then a lot of shit hits the fan. People don't want to be here anymore, and then AEW gets made. Now, AEW is absolutely not at the point to where WCW was, right? Like, it's just not. It is a great product for people that love that type of product and that want something different and alternate to WWE. It definitely has some really great things going for it, but it's definitely also not for everybody. But my point that I'm getting to is we are at this point in wrestling now where... if you wanted to, you could watch like 30 plus hours of wrestling. Like, it's unbelievable how much wrestling is on television, let alone not even included on some streaming service, etc., that you could watch in a week. It's like, it blows my mind how much time is invested in wrestling on television series now. Like, it's crazy, honestly. So when I say wrestling moment of the summer, like, I'm not a TNA guy. I'm not a Ring of Honor guy. Like, I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to go out of my way to watch, what I would be considered as, like, the minor leagues of these kids coming up. That's great. Like, if I want to watch the minor leagues, I'm going to watch NXT. Or to a lesser extent, I'm gonna watch the AEW Elevated, I think it's called, if I remember correctly. I'll watch that stuff because that's like new people that are already signed to systems that are going to come up, that you're going to see them eventually someday, most likely on a main roster of either AEW, WWE, etc., etc. But the point is that like there is a ton of great moments in wrestling this summer. Some that I like. I might not watch any of that other stuff, but I'll read about it. Like I'll hear about it. I follow all the news networks and everything like that. So it's probably been one of the craziest summers in wrestling, and like the saddest part about it is that we were probably cheated because of like a Daniel Bryan injury, because of a Adam Cole injury, because of a CM Punk injury. So like the summer could have been even better than it was, which is really crazy to think about. Even though like on this list of paper here, I have like 15 things written down. Like that's crazy to me. Like that's how ridiculous wrestling has gotten in the year 22. Is that like 2022? Is that like there's so much of it that like you could still fill an index card of listed things of awesome, incredible moments where you were like, holy shit, or this is awesome, like whatever, you know, we all know the chants, you know, like the point is that like I wanted to really hammer that down for people that aren't in wrestling right now and they don't get listen man, to each their own. My thing about wrestling and the reason why I love wrestling is that at the end of the day, it is always there. Monday Night Raw has literally existed almost my entire life. Like, which is insane. It's insane to think about that. But for 30 plus years, it has been on Monday nights, which is absolutely bonkers. So for me, even if I don't watch wrestling for 3 months, guess what? It's still there. Like, it's still there. I can still go back. And now, because of Peacock and WWE Network, all that shit, like, I can even go back and watch what I missed. Like, it's not even a big deal. So for me, that's my biggest thing, is that wrestling at the end of the day will always have a home in my heart, because even if I walk away, it still goes, it still lives, and it's still, you know, through the pandemic, honestly, like, they're the only television series on TV that was live television that was creating new, new episodes, new characters. Everything about it was still continuing. Like, they didn't stop. Like, that's crazy. Like, these guys literally still went to work when everybody stopped. So for me, it's just like, I love it. I love wrestling. I've been a diehard fan my entire life. And this summer was, you know, nothing short of fabulous in my opinion. I'm done talking, so
just to confirm with this, what you just said with wrestling and everything like that, you're basically telling me you like dudes that are sweaty and hugging each other in their underwear?
Fucking love it.
Okay. Good talk.
Quote it. Bryan, pitch to you, buddy. You want to go.
All right. So, as always, you have to acknowledge your tribal chief. All right.
Oh god.
Well, I can't put my hand all the way up, so I'm gonna go like this.
Yeah. You gotta acknowledge your tribal chief. But the storyline that I've been enjoying the most is our honorary Oos.
Fuck yeah, man.
Sami Zayn.
We lost your phone.
Shit. Sami Zayn.
That's so perfectly timed.
Honorary Oos. I love it.
Brian's phone put his one up in the air.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Sami Zayn storyline
Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are gonna have an awesome clash. What the fuck?
Brian needs a webcam, guys.
I do.
Or at the very least, a stand for his phone.
We're not that. Oh, see you later, Brian.
Why does it keep falling now?
Because it probably got sweaty like those wrestlers.
Brian, are you getting all hot and bothered in there, making it humid for your phone slipping down?
No. But the Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso at some point is going to be an amazing match.
You're thinking way too small.
I gotta give it to Jay and Jimmy, for that matter, to be able to hold it together, because I know that they're trying to laugh and trying to suppress laughing, because Sami Zayn is fucking hilarious.
Like the episode where he's like in Roman's locker room and he's doing the, you know, like they're all just laughing. They can't even do it. They couldn't even hold it back. They literally couldn't.
Well, Roman breaks character all the goddamn time.
No, but like you could see them in the background just dying. Like they literally couldn't hold it back because that's how good it was. It was so good.
I'm telling you, this week if he walks out with them, they're gonna have an animation with Sami Zayn with the Usos, with the the one in the air. I'm telling you, they're gonna have it. They just are.
My favorite thing about the Sami Zayn is the levels and layers that he created for what could be considered by many a pretty stale act. Like he just invigorated it. He just rejuvenated it. You know, like he just brought it back, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to put my spin on it now, and I'm going to create this thing. And Paul Heyman had went away, so it was kind of the perfect timing. Even though they've been layering this for months now, that like he is this honorary member of their team. He walks around with a different shirt, which is also so perfect. I'm so glad he doesn't have like the newest up-to-date shirt, as if like he can't afford to buy it, or like they just like won't give him one or something. Like I love all of it. It's so good. So
he made his own shirt. He actually has the honorary you shirt.
Yeah.
So that's too good.
It is. It's very spectacular. And like I said, the layers and the storytelling of like where it's gonna go is just, it's all so good. For me, like they just announced War Games this week. I pray to God that he ends up on the War Games team, and it's like the Usos, Solo, and Sammy versus for whoever, and that's when Sammy goes fuck this and turns. Like, oh my God, the Sami Zayn face turn is something that I never knew I needed. You know, I never knew that I needed a Sami Zayn face turn, but holy shit, do I oh my God, I can't wait. It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, even last week when Solo was like, "Jay, you off your game? Come on, Sammy." I was like,
I love it.
Damn,
fucking great. Ziggy.
I mean, mine has to be WrestleMania. The ending of honestly though, the ending of WrestleMania was great. Don't get me wrong. It was everything that I wanted it to be. It was Stone Cold was there, Kevin Owens. It was a great fucking match. It didn't seem like Stone Cold was as beat up as other people. Yeah, like because I mean like his knees have been shot for years, bad back.
I didn't expect him to take a suplex onto the concrete.
I was just thoroughly impressed with the match. And then what was it? Day 2 was even better for me. When he came out again, the fucking crowd erupted. It was just fantastic. It was like old Stone Cold fashion, coming out and just ready to fucking go. Those.
I mean, honestly, we also have one of the best memes from that night of Pat McAfee drinking a beer on the ground while he just got stunned.
Yeah,
I still have that saved on my phone.
The other good one that I like, actually, so Clash of the Castle was a pretty good pay-per-view.
Well, I'm happy you named something that was in the summer and following directions, since I clearly once again has reiterated that you don't read. So
it was my favorite. It says favorite wrestling moment of the summer. I was gonna get to it. I was just telling you what my favorite wrestling moment was right now.
That's fine.
God, you didn't listen. You just you jumped the gun here because now I'm talking about Clash of Castle and now you're wrong. 3 days early. The deck list that's 3 days early. This is what we have.
3 days later, early for the second round. Yeah, totally. Fine.
So Clash of Castle was
that's the deck list he's playing.
Was entertaining for me. It was it was the day of my son's birthday party, and we basically told everybody, we're like, you can't come over till like 3:30, and the match bled like well into like the 4:40 area, like the Clash of Castle, and everybody was over eating. And everybody's outside having fun, and everybody, like me, Kelly, and the kids are inside fucking watching wrestling while our entire family's outside, and we're just like, I don't care. Like, we told them not to come over till whatever time, and they came, they got their bellies full, and they ate, and we were having a good old time here. And the match versus Drew and Roman was actually really, really good in my opinion. I thought it was a really solid match. The match that took the cake for me though for the whole event was definitely the Sheamus versus Gunther match. We discussed this before. Yeah. I just think it was a damn good match. It was entertaining. It was all of it. I was kind of like
it was entertaining. It was brutal.
Yeah, I was kind of upset that Sheamus didn't win, but at the same time, I mean, I get it. You can't really do the Gunther thing if you're gonna make him lose. at an event like that.
It's one of those. It is one of those moments though that were like, they both walked away with a win.
Yeah.
Like he,
like Sheamus walked away, you knowing he's a badass.
Well, not even that. Like
even though he lost.
him getting that
The roar of
crowd
the crowd,
reaction.
yeah.
Like that was such like. That's a moment that he, he's waited his whole life for that moment. I mean, same thing with Drew McIntyre. Like those guys literally waited their entire lives to have that moment. So it's like you got to respect where respect is due. And then Sheamus, they said it on SmackDown. And it's true. Like this guy is, he's like a 5-time world champion. Like he was very young. I mean, literally, I don't remember last time he won his title was probably like, I don't know, 2016, 2017 or something like that. But like he accomplished so much young that it's crazy to think that like now he's been in the business for 12, 13, 14. I have no idea. It's been forever. Like for as long as I remember, he's just been there, So
yeah,
he's up pretty up there in age. He's pretty high,
and he's still white as fuck. Like
he is. Crazy, my God. He is fucking.
I mean, by the end of that match, his chest wasn't.
He was pink.
He was pink. He is like super. The fact that the LED lights hit him and how reflective he is, that is to him. You can't even see anything. The only thing you see is his wrestling shorts, his knee pads, and his fucking boots, and that's it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, if there was nothing else in him, that should be his finishing move.
Imagine if he was wearing the patented white boots, bro.
Oh my God, dude! There's no way.
Imagine.
I don't know if I'd be able to understand where his calf begins and the end of his foot is. Jesus Christ, that'd be terrible.
It's true. You would just see like underwear on the screen. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
Actually, real quick,
I do red hair and underwear. Like that's
I do want to shout out a little known fact here. So Gulak, Drew, he is actually an alumni from Northeast High School.
Fuck yeah!
I didn't know that. He was actually part of my class, like the one that I graduated from.
So his first pay-per-view match was the Elimination Chamber that Bryan and I went to in Philadelphia, literally like 4 days before the world got closed down. And they announced him from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He got a hell of a pop.
Yeah.
Hell of a pop.
He came out wearing Flyers colors.
He did. He was wearing orange and black tights. I loved it.
Nice.
It was great.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that. And then Kel was telling me that one of his buddies was Eric, like one of the guys she works with. And like it makes sense. I mean, like I never would have met him because he was from Magnet, the different program. It's like a business program inside. There was like subsectors of.
We already discussed this. You were the ghetto part of the school. It's
ghetto part. Definitely. But yeah, no. I think that Clash of Castle was pretty entertaining for me. I'm pretty pumped for Extreme Rules.
I'm more pumped now. It's in Philadelphia, which is 2 thumbs up. No, I'm not going because it's way too much money. But I'm pumped now because the card looks pretty great. I'm really pumped for the Fight Pit just because it's unique, it's different. It's something that honestly the WWE side of the universe hasn't seen ever. Like the NXT crowd is super small, tiny compared to what they do in pay-per-views and Monday Night Raws and SmackDown and stuff like that. So like it'll be cool to see that get an actual limelight on it. Just as excited as I am about War Games for Survivor Series, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that, and I'm excited for wherever they do teams. It doesn't matter. Like all of the NXT. If you have not watched the NXT War Games, I'm talking to you mostly, Zig. Like seriously, go on Peacock, look up the NXT takeovers with War Games, and you'll be like, holy shit, this is like just fucking chaos. Remember I tell you how much I love Io Sky or Io Shirai. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce her name correctly or something. Her in War Games is just awesome. Like that was like when I first fell in love with her. I'm like, holy shit, this chick is insane, and I'm so pumped. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. Like there's a lot of I was like, it was like, oh, it's gonna be a mid-tier pay-per-view. Roman's not gonna be on it. There won't be a title, but Karrion Kross and Drew, that should be great. Liv and Ronda with Extreme Rules is going to be way better than not having Extreme Rules, so I'm glad that they did that.
Liv's gonna leave with her arm in Ronda's pocket.
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? It's Extreme Rules. Anything is possible.
Liv can use weapons to even it out of it.
Liv can just beat her ass.
When your whole body's a weapon, I don't know if a weapon's going to help you.
Right, but hey, who knows? You know, but I don't know. I'm
It's
excited.
wrestling. Things that have made less sense have happened. All right.
Right. So, my list of wrestling moments, right?
So I'm gonna be like, now, Dan, what do you have?
My list of wrestling moments where it starts with Rollins and Cody in Hell in a Cell. Unbelievable. Reigns versus Lesnar at SummerSlam, I thought was honestly unbelievable. The Bayley return at SummerSlam was also really cool. We hadn't seen her for a really long time. I'm a pretty big Bayley fan. Clash of the Castle was great. Have to totally agree. Why is he doing that?
I think Kel's walking by. She doesn't want to be on camera.
Oh, okay.
Hell doesn't be on camera.
Johnny wrestling returning, unbelievable. Like I was really pumped. I was really really bummed when he went away. I was really bummed because honestly I didn't want to see Johnny wrestling go to AEW. I just didn't want to see it. If we don't need to get into reasons why, but I didn't want to see that. CM Punk winning his first title. Listen, it's not the Summer of Punk we thought we were gonna have, but CM Punk coming in 9 months into being back and winning that championship, like, I'm a huge Punk fan. He was great for WWE. It's fine. That's fine. Listen, that's all fine, right? Like, the point is that it was a huge moment, and it should have been better than it was. The problem is my man's old. He's out of shape. He got hurt, and we didn't get any of that shit that we wanted. Follow that back for the Moxley squash of Punk. I thought was an unbelievable moment. I didn't see it happening. Totally caught me off guard. But kudos to them for popping a rating and getting everybody talking about it because it worked. I literally couldn't believe it. The MJF return at the pay-per-view, I thought was pretty great. They did it really well. They planned it really well. The voicemail was pretty great. I love a lot of that going on. The Omega return was also very good. I'm not a huge Omega fan, but it was really good. This is a bit of one that's probably going to be a little unexpected. Lee and Swerve and the Acclaimed, unbelievable match. Like, it might be one of the best matches of the year, I think. I thought they were phenomenal.
Lee and Swerve have been very good since they put them together.
It's random. It worked. You know, they took the WWE mod and threw two black guys together and said, hey, you're a tag team. But it works for them, all right? Like, it totally works for them.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta swerve in the glory, all right?
The after All Out scrum, I mean, like, all of that is, like, unbelievable things happening, whether it's a work, whether it's a shoot. Who the fuck cares? The point is that it's unbelievable the wall or barrier that they are breaking or not breaking, because no one's going to probably know unless CM Punk gets on a podcast in 9 months and tells everyone about it. It's crazy to me that, like, we're this many weeks in and we're really not certain at all whatever happened. Like I said, we might not know, but it was crazy to see CM Punk go on this live stream with 100,000 people watching and he just absolutely shit on his own company. It was like, wow. Like, all right. Like that. So, yeah, I had to give that one a shout out. However, for me, my long-winded of listed summer of awesomeness, it's got to be Liv Morgan. It's her winning Money in the Bank, her cashing in. Ironically, I was just recently listening to my wife and I's podcast where we were recording in like late 2021 or early 2022, and at that point it was like, who's your next up-and-coming star? Mine was Liv Morgan then, and it took her literally 18 months to win the title from when I said that. But like, I think Liv has done everything right to get to the point to become champion. I will say everything after that moment is pretty lackluster. It hasn't been a very good run. It's been like just
they haven't booked her very well.
The booking of the tapping out to Ronda was just bad. Like, it was not a good decision. It was a really poor one. Her match against Natty was awful. Her match against Baszler was better, but it was one of the worst matches on that card, probably because all the matches were phenomenal. But like, it's still like, it's noticeable that it wasn't good. So she definitely has some redeeming, to make this run worth anything. But like, seeing her, like, literally when she entered the arena, she had tears. Like, you knew how emotionally invested she was about to become, and I thought it was great. I love seeing her win. The cash in was just as good. Like, just all that emotion for, a true changing of the tide in WWE. Along with, I didn't even talk about obviously the Triple H takeover. Like, that's its own moment in itself, realistically. But seeing that changing of championship, it was the first time in 4 years that a non-four horsewoman exchanged titles, or Ronda. It's like for that long that's all they did in SmackDown was exchange this title between 3 or 4 people, and that was it. So like for them breaking the mold and giving Liv the chance was a huge step in the right direction. As I said, Ziggy and I had a pretty long talk about this the other day. Like the women's division as a whole on WWE right now it's still better than AEW probably ever will be, because that women's division is awful. But like for all the talent they have right now, it's one of the most lackluster things on television, which is really sad.
Yeah, it's the same matches every week. It's just how when Triple H before Triple H came about, and started doing shit. It's been like that. Like I like the fact that they don't have that they took Corbin out. Corbin's out for a few weeks. He's actually one of my favorite characters in wrestling right now. Corbin. I think all his moves are sweet. I think that he brings a lot. He's good on the mic. I think he should be like an Intercontinental Champion. I'm not even playing. Or I don't know so much a United States Champion, because that seems like a big title. But I think that Corbin is really, really solid.
I do like Corbin. I just feel like some of his signature moves are better than his actual finisher.
Yeah,
deep six should be his finisher and not the end of days.
Yeah, deep six is sweet.
I mean,
or that choke slam backbreaker that he does.
I mean, I don't know. Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb I still think is one of the coolest moves in wrestling. He's never won a single match with it. Ever.
Yeah, one of the coolest moves. The haluva kick is his fucking his winner.
He uses literally one of the coolest moves in wrestling, I feel, and it's like one of the most out of nowhere, unexpected moment type things in a match. And he's never won it with it, and every time he does it, I pop every time.
Yeah.
It's comparable to if I remember correctly. No, he did this too, where he used to jump through the ropes, like from the outside through the ropes, catch and do a DDT. All on the outside of the ring, and that was also awesome. Never won a match with that either, but that's besides the point.
Sami Zayn's been moving up on my list. He's entertaining. Like I like to see him on a weekly basis. People who are down, I can't stand Damian Priest. I fucking hate him. He's just such a useless character. For a big guy, he's not really look, these guys would whoop my ass in any athletic event, whatever you want to call it. They would destroy me. I don't give a shit about any of that. What I'm talking about is the fact that
if you suck, you
this
suck.
This dude is just he sometimes wants to speak Spanish, he sometimes doesn't. That fucking he's I'm waiting for him to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass, you El Pollo Grande." I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? No, who's Spanish right now that is just yeah, I'm so invested. Please say the big chicken.
So you don't like Razor Ramon at home?
See, there's a difference. Razor Ramon always had that persona, so he was there. The problem is that I think Damian's trying to be something that he's not, instead of trying to be an individual. And that is the big thing for me. Sami Zayn made it to where he's this guy. And the fact is Damian Priest is trying to be he was originally starting off as an archer. I'm where the fuck is he shooting this arrow to? Because he's obviously not even fucking looking the direction that it's going in. This dude's just awful. There's just a whole slew of things that's wrong with his character. And it's just dude, pick one direction and just fucking go and do it. I think that he'd be good, but honestly, I'm telling you right now, hands down, the fact that Rhea Ripley is now the lead of the Judgment Day is the best thing that they fucking could have did. Yeah. Because she is Big Mom. She's 100% doing it well.
And Dominic has nuclear heat right now.
Dude, I'm telling you,
that crowd was fucking insane last night.
That crowd, the last time that I heard that crowd boo someone that badly was when Roman beat Taker, and it was the night after Mania. And he he literally started Monday Night Raw and sat in the ring and ate booze for 5 minutes. It was unbelievable. That heat that Dominic Mysterio, a guy that 6 months ago wouldn't even have mentioned probably. What was his WrestleMania match?
Yeah,
I don't even fucking remember.
If it wasn't because of last night, I wouldn't even have brought his name up.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
literally, I couldn't even tell you what he did at WrestleMania. I have no fucking clue. Not a single clue what he did at Mania.
Something with his dad.
But last night, that heat, unbelievable. Like, I'm like, wow, like this is fucking working. Like, people are, and like, it's crazy. Like, when you look at it, like when you look at entertainment, and you look at sports, and you look at wrestling, and all that thing is like, that story is probably one of those stories that like hits non-wrestling fans. You know, like,
Yeah.
it really does. Like, it hits like a, man, I have issues with my parents. Man, I have ex-girlfriends that like I could compare this whole storyline to. Like, it's crazy because like that's probably the story that like most females may be more interested in, because it is, you know, the women, like the woman just being so dominant in it. It is because of the whole like, oh, she's the bad girl and he's the you know, like, all that shit. But like that's sports entertainment sometimes, and it's crazy. The funny thing, just to follow up about Baron Corbin and Damian Priest. Ironically, you know, I followed NXT Black and Gold. I followed NXT. I watched my fair share of NXT. I could not stand Baron Corbin in NXT. I could not stand Damian Priest in NXT. For the longest time, I could not stand Baron Corbin on the main roster. But what he does, I think, better than anybody, and it's super interesting, is the way that he does moves in the ring. Even when he's doing offensive moves, he's showing like a recoil, like that he is affected by his own things. Like, if literally, it's one of the only people in wrestling that does this. When he punches someone, he shakes his hand. It's one of the most subtle things in wrestling. Like if you're not a hardcore wrestling fan, you're never gonna notice this. But like, I remember the first time I did. I remember while I was watching his match. It was, I don't even remember who he was against, but I just remember him going, bam! He punched him on the head. He goes, oh, and he shakes his hand. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I can respect that. So I think Corbin, like, I love the Happy Corbin thing. I liked all that. I actually love Sad Corbin more than I liked Happy Corbin.
I love Sad Corbin more.
I do think, unfortunately,
sure.
it ran its course. I don't know what they're gonna do with him next. Lone Wolf thing sucks. Do not go back to that. It's not good.
So like the thing is that I feel like they are running into a lot of issues with that. Like, the people that were really good together are not good by themselves. And the only thing that I think is going to happen now, like basically like this, like, it looked like Montez was going to get a solo run for a while because he was just getting buffed up and whatever. And then Angelo Dawkins lost a shit ton of weight and he started getting bulking up. And he's like, you know, I got to do it. Montez is the moneymaker.
I ain't going to be no Jannetty.
Yeah, Montez is good on the mic, and that's just where, you know, what happens.
The truth is that, and this is my honest opinion of the Street Profits, I think they're both incredibly equal. I think he is just as good on the mic, and you don't know it because he's not given the same time. Honestly.
Sure.
Like, I think he's just as good. I just think if you look at their history, yeah, Montez Ford looks better, looks like the next single star, looks like the guy on the mic, but like, every time Dawkins is on the mic and he speaks, he's not bad, like, at all. Like, if they had a more fair share of things, I think it would be a lot closer than people think. I really do.
I mean, okay, I can get around that. That's fine. My major thing with that is that it's just the way that it feels, you know, whereas it's perceived.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, you have Madcap, who used to be with Baron or Happy Corbin, and it was. Those two were great. They were fantastic, and I think Madcap's was much better. Madcap just doesn't have a direction. Well, right now he's just some like fucking juice dude.
What did Madcap do for the first 3 pay-per-views of the year?
I don't even know.
He wrestled Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Right, but what has he done since he split up with Corbin?
He's been basically doing squash matches and being add-ons to tag team shit.
He's just a float. He's literally just a float.
Yeah,
so like,
he can't do anything with
now.
him.
Granted, the whole put two guys together and make a scheme, that, you know, that we live in Vince McMahon's world for an eternity, and we don't live in that world anymore. I can officially say we're like 2 months into the Triple H era. Yeah, fuck it. Thank God it's over, because the last 2 months has been unbelievable.
I mean, he's still working on storylines for everybody. He can't work miracles that fast.
They're not going to all be home runs, right? It's not. They're not going to be all home runs. Not everybody can be champion. That's all great and dandy. As long as people are doing shit that are meaningful, like literally right now, Kevin Owens. We haven't even talked about him really. Kevin Owens is one of the greatest things in wrestling. He's not a champion. He's not fighting for a championship. You know, like Seth Rollins, same deal. Like him and Matt Riddle, phenomenal. Seth Rollins is one of the best things on television every single week. Like you can make characters incredible and important and not have a title on the line. Now, do I still believe that Raw needs a title? Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. It can't just be the United States Championship, especially when, like, if we really go back in time, the one strike I'll say is, like, the last 3 championship title matches for the United States title have all been interrupted in some way. So, like, I'm not getting behind Bobby Lashley if, like, every match he has is there's something wrong with it. Like, you're not some almighty champion. You can't even beat people clean. Whether you're not the guy cheating or not besides the point. You're still not winning these matches clean, which still means you're still a mid-card title that I'm not supposed to really give a shit about, which means they need a fucking world title on Raw. But whatever, I digress. The point is that
I think Money in the Bank might be a way for them to get split the titles back up, because I think they would have the contract just count for one instead of both.
That sounds great. I hope Austin Aries loses though, so like I'm not on board.
Well, I don't think he's gonna have the briefcase. I think at some point Owens is probably gonna get it off.
I hope that's
what
true.
It feels like. It feels like that Owen. They're setting up for Theory to lose it, and that'll be like the biggest fuck you to Vince McMahon.
Because Theory is Vince's boy and Owens is Triple H's boy.
The problem with Theory is that, much like Otis, it really did feel like I'm just going to do this because no one expects it. And what happened to Otis? Does anyone remember Otis being Money in the Bank champion?
Oh, yes.
Don't talk about the thumb like that.
Does anybody remember that?
Yes.
Did he?
I also remember him being with Mandy Rose.
Oh, that's true. Did he cash in Money in the Bank and become champion?
No, he lost it in a lawsuit with the Miz.
Facts. Literally, not even a match. Not even a match.
I think that right now the best part. I think the best part of Raw is the fact that the Miz keeps on feuding with Loomis and they're not fighting at all, and it's just like, what is going on? It's great.
This week, the skits of like him in their house and like, oh my god, it's so good.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. This week was the Miz TV.
Oh yeah.
This week was Loomis coming through the mat.
And you just seen him cutting through the mat. It's good. Like Loomis is good. I think it's like he's another one. I think this is the way that
Chef Kiss.
WWE was supposed to be. If that, when NXT talent moved up to the main roster.
Like, you mean they're not supposed to change their name and their gimmick and then act like they never existed?
I'm waiting for my girl Nikita Lyons. Much thickness.
She needs some more reps, but she's gonna be a star.
She definitely is.
She can be a star.
I mean,
I'm waiting for Butch to remember his name is Pete Dunne. That's what I need. I need that still.
I mean,
please.
I don't know if he's ever gonna go back to Pete Dunne. To be honest with you, it feels like he's just sticking with Butch. He needs
to wake up, slap Sheamus, and go, "Why the fuck have you been calling me Butch for the last year?" And then just be like, "My name's Pete," and that's fine. Like, he can still do the exact same thing he's doing right now, and we just call him Pete instead of Butch. I'm all about it. I'm just saying, I'm all about it.
I mean,
shout out to them. They're not going to win the titles. It's not happening.
They're definitely not winning the titles. At least I don't think so, unless some weird miracle happens.
I'm just not buying it. Do I think the Usos need to win? No, I don't. I don't think Roman needs to win either. I think all those titles need to change. But I just can't believe that those two are going to win. Not behind it.
No, I mean, I'm surprised they're not going to get something's not going to happen. It's going to be a triple threat match at the Street Profits or even Hit Row.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get it go. Because, I mean, it just seems off. It seems like just a match that they're not really worried about. They're just going to let the Usos beat the shit out of the Brawling Brutes and then not be considered the Brawling Brutes anymore.
We went on a nice little tangent about wrestling.
Okay.
That's not shocking at all.
Shocker.
Yeah. The sun's getting real low over here, boys.
Right. So, we want to do this thing where we get a random fan question of the week. However, of course, we don't have any fans yet, right? So we had to reach to our family. And I'm going to do this in the most appropriate way possible because this is my brother's line of thinking. So he suggested that we use the chess scandal of the World Champions of Chess tournament going on and how we felt about that. Now, I know how to play chess. I can tell you for sure that I have.
Oh wait, you played that chess? Whoa, Dan.
Not that chess. I can tell you that this for sure. The episode or the series Queen's Gambit on Netflix, which is about chess. Even if you're like literally not a chess fan, but you're into like any type of strategy game, I think you could really respect that show. I thought it was phenomenal. It really teaches you, or not that it teaches you, but it shows you the amount of effort and grinding it takes to like be a world champion. And I don't want to do this, but I'm going to. Like, I know what that's like. I know what that regiment costs. I know what it's like to want to commit everything you want to a singular goal. So it was really, really intriguing for me to see this in like a different sport, or a different game, I should say, a different strategist, a mindset of like how they prepared and like everything. Like I think the show is very underrated. It's definitely a sleeper on Netflix. Like, you don't even have to like chess. Just watch it if you're just like really into strategy games, because it's really cool to see all the regiment put in and all the knowledge that you can learn. And I really, really love that show. That's my extent of knowledge of chess, though. I don't know shit about the World Tournament. I didn't know anything about it at all. I didn't know that it was happening. I didn't know anything.
There's a scandal at the World Tournament for Chess. I have no idea what any of that is.
Brian,
obviously, Brian, you have not opened up Facebook in like the last week.
Bryan follows nothing on social media at all that would connect him to this somehow. He also clearly doesn't pay attention to our Discord, where we definitely talked about it at least a little bit. Yeah. So for those that you don't know, there was a scandal that I believe he's 19, right? Like he's a baby. Is a new participant in the World Championship of Chess. And he beat one of the number one ranked player in the world?
Yes. Yeah. Well, if he's not number one, he's one of arguably the best player in the world.
So he beat one of the best players in the world at the age of 19, and no one believes it's possible or true. And there's been this ridiculous back and forth of going around of cheating. Apparently the kid is a known cheater in online chess, which does not help his cause whatsoever. But it got to the point where literally they are suggesting that this kid stuck a sex toy up his bum and was using Morse code to play his game against his opponent. Unbelievable stuff. I don't even think we really need to talk about it. I just like, when he said like, hey, what are your feelings on this? I'm like, I'm just going to throw a straight big old down on it, because like, if he did it, unbelievable. I can't believe he did it. If he didn't do it, unbelievable. I can't believe whoever suggested this story has made it this big, because it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, people are talking about chess.
So to put a little bit of clarity on it, the big thing that's going on right now, the reason why it's so talked about is because Magnus Carlsen, who is arguably the best player in chess in the world, or highest rated, whatever it is, he quit the tournament upon losing to this guy.
Yeah.
And that is like the big, like, oh, why'd he quit? Obviously there was a reason because he had to quit, because he scooped and, did whatever, or he folded it up, and because he felt like something was off, and he felt like the kid was cheating, but couldn't exactly put his finger on what was going on. I also don't know how you cheat in chess by having anal beads inside your butt, and Morse code happens. Is it just like you're about to do the wrong move, and then you're like, oh?
I mean, like, here's the thing that, like, I don't understand why it doesn't make any sense. It's like, it takes a lot of time to put in Morse code, especially for, like, an entire sentence, and they're on a clock the entire time. Like, their moves they're making are, they got to be made in a pretty fair period of time. So, like, how the was he getting Morse code of all things? I'm like, what?
Like, I don't even see how you could cheat, because it's not like you could look at their hand while they're playing and know what they're going to do.
Granted, there are, once again, not a huge chess guy. I'm a below support. There are many different, strategies and builds and defenses and offensives in chess and things like that. So, like, if someone at home is identifying that he's doing this particular set of moves that is known in chess, like, literally, seriously, go watch Queen's Gambit. It's not a joke. Like, they will literally go back and watch every chess game that some of the best players in the world have played and record their setups and their defenses and their attack strategies. Like, they do all these things. So there is a lot of in-depth strategy to the game within the game.
I understand that, but it's not like you'd be able to be like, oh, I see him doing this, and I'm already doing something else, and it's not gonna change what I was already planning.
No, but if you throw a wrench into it, like if you throw a wrench into the plan, like sporadic moves in chess they are what they're sporadic. So it's like if your opponent is a lot of times chess is played in 3 turns ahead. Like I know what my opponent's going to do for the next 3-4 turns. So if your opponent just goes and whoop throws it out the window, you're like, well, what did he do that? Like what is he planning? So now like it creates this friction and this problem.
You gotta Shikamaru that shit.
Yeah. But yeah,
You don't know that.
So like I said, there's a ton of them. I'm not an expert in chess at all, but like the point is that there is a way for him to do it. But what I cannot believe at all is that somehow that way was Morse code with a sex toy up his bum, and him figuring that out quick enough to clock in his move. It's none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense.
I guess the real question is, what if he enjoyed it so much, he just like knew what the move that he had to make, but he wanted the guy to continue to do the Morse code. I mean, just devil's advocate here. Okay.
And then my question is, how is he cheating online?
No,
Like,
he
was he
wasn't cheating
just-
online. This is an in-person tournament.
Yeah, no.
No.
I didn't-
You said
I didn't.
you said that.
If he was cheating online with the anal beads, that's fucking commitment.
No, but
No.
you said he has a history of cheating before.
I read an
So-
article where he admitted that he had cheated in online like chess.com tournaments. I have no idea how he did it. Right? Maybe he has like an overlay on the screen that runs a formula of figuring out what the moves are. Like that's the only thing I can come up with, right? Like that's a totally something believable that I could see happening. But yeah, like he did it. Like he actually admitted that he had cheated on online tournaments. But then he also admitted like, oh, I haven't cheated in a tournament since I was 13 years old in live play, and it's like, that's what? Like, why are you doing that? So like, I don't know. Like once a cheater, you're always a cheater in my opinion for the most part. So the fact that he did it when he was 13, which by the way was only like 6 years ago. It's not even like it's like, oh, it was 30 years ago. No, like it was like yesterday. So yeah, I don't know. The whole thing I thought was interesting. The development is crazy because like it's getting people to talk about chess. So it's like, hey, it's putting some type of light. They say any publicity is good publicity. I don't know if that's true in this situation, but people are talking about chess. So good on them. Good on them.
Yeah. I personally think it's real weird.
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
I don't think that. I think this is more like a publicity grab more than anything, which for all intents and purposes is working.
Probably.
But
So you think it's a work?
Yeah, I think it's a work because I mean, like, I feel like
Go back to wrestling.
It's a shoot.
I feel like this
it's
kid.
a work.
I feel like this
It's a
kid
work
just got
shoot.
the better of the guy. I mean, it happens. Everybody, no matter if you're the best player in the world, eventually there's things you're gonna flip on and not do, and things not to go your way, make a move by accident. Like you do it, and then if that person capitalizes, they're on their A game. It's
I mean,
good.
it's-
GGs,
It's not even like that. Honestly, some of the hardest opponents are the unpredictable ones. Again, like, you can study all the film in the world, but you can't study film on someone you don't know. Like, you have no idea. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It's one of those where it's like, it's very interesting that, like, a sport or a game like chess is getting this weird negative publicity in it. But, like, once again, like, when do you ever hear about the World Championship of Chess? Like, I'm 33 years old. I've never heard about it ever until I watched Queen's Gambit, and that was on a fictional television show that was, My point is that like people are talking about chess, so whatever, good on them. Maybe people are caring. I have no idea. Maybe more people buy chessboards. Remember how when the Hunger Games came out, like the uptick in archery classes went up by like 1,000%. Like maybe that's what this is, man. What's this? Who knows? But I think with that, we're gonna bring it to a close. I would say that this is maybe about the average length of one of our podcasts. Maybe it'll be shorter if we have one singular topic. Who knows? The plan is to do these bi-weekly as often as we can, if no issues occur and things like that. That's the plan. So we're hoping that we can get together every 2 weeks, report a podcast. And, we don't know what the topics are for next week, so I can't give them to you. But if you're brand new, this is the first time you're listening, like, comment, subscribe. ironically, hey, that like button isn't up. It's a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Right?
We appreciate it.
Thumbs up. But yeah, so looking forward to exploring more versions of pop culture. In a few weeks, we'll have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes of Andor to talk about. Who the hell knows? We'll see what happens. But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Ziggy out.
Peace.